And here we go. Hello, everybody. Doug here from 2 Plus Stuff, and I have a awesome guest with me. This is Kenzie.
Yo, what's up?
Yeah, and so I have been dragging my heels, much to Kenzie's chagrin, when it comes to actually reading books because I've been knee deep in battle tomes. So, thought we would just hang out and do a little hobby hangout for today. I'm actually gonna boot up some light music. We could chill and hang out and chat. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it, but everybody else will.
I'll have the screen pulled up in like another tab just to monitor the chat because that's what I do.
And so with these, I always aim to get something out midday on Fridays so that folks in the UK and greater world have a just different opportunity to hear me at weird times. So, Kenzie, what you been working on lately?
I've been working on just a bunch of nonsense. Just whatever I feel like. I've got some Marines. I've got one of the guys from Blackstone Fortress. I got some Poxwalkers, some Liberators. A mess. I'm just trying to I want to get something done before Sisters come out, but that's looking less and less likely, I guess.
Yeah, I get that. So, do we have a date yet for them, or are we still kind of like in?
It's still it's confirmed for November. I think the word is that next week is also going to be Bone Reapers, like the rest of the Bone Reaper stuff.
That makes sense.
And then like the week after that would be Sisters, or there'd be something in between. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. We got Cold Shoulder. Hello. And Caleb says he's doing Blight Kings in Pittsburgh. Nice. That's awesome. So, yeah, I get that kind of that weird in-between space between armies. GW said they were sending me a copy of the Feast of Bones, so I'm kind of just waiting to hear back about that. Maybe it'll arrive at my work today. Be nice. But yeah.
Definitely. I've got some stuff from Blood of the Phoenix actually coming because I'm doing some Eldar for a friend because he plays a bunch of Eldar, and I just really wanted to have the opportunity to paint Jane Czar.
Oh yeah,
the new like Phoenix Lord lady. Yeah, I was like that'd be cool. I want that.
Yeah, she's a cool one. Do you how much 40k like do you get in compared to like AOS?
Pretty much equal. I would say because I've got just about like 2.5 armies on each side. So Khorne and Stormcast in AOS with some Sylvaneth on the side, and then 40k is like Chaos, Death Guard, Chaos Space Marines, Sisters, and Marines.
Oh dang, you're like all in.
Yeah, well, I don't have all like in a full Marines army. It's just a bunch of like miscellaneous models at this point. And
I get
the
that.
same thing kind of goes for Chaos Space Marines, where it's like handful of heroes, one unit of like basically the Shadow Spear box, and then like a Master of Executions and the some of the old Dark Vengeance box set with the Crimson Slaughter. Yeah.
I actually like those models quite a bit.
Yeah, no, they're not half bad. I like the Chaos Lord in there. It's so good with like his sword that's got all the stuff, the faces in it, and then like the big old horns. He is excellent.
Nice. Let's see. Looking like Slaves to Darkness is coming in December.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm excited to have that coming, but like immediately after Sisters, I'm not excited because
everything else is dead to you.
Well, no, not that everything's gonna be dead to me. It's just that like I don't know if I'll have any cash left to really buy into all that, or the time. Well, I'll be on break pretty much the entire month of December from school, so doing that. I know like half of it I'll be back at work trying to recoup my losses, and then the other half I'll be like hanging out in Colorado with my mom. So.
Oh, that's sweet.
A bit of cabin fever.
Yeah, no joke. What else? Yeah,
there's always Christmas. There's
that is true. The second that the rumor for Slaves to Darkness went up, someone messaged me and was like, don't you feel like regret for selling off your Slaves to Darkness guys? I was like, no, never. I don't.
Yeah.
I have no regrets when I saw these things.
I was sad to see your Slaves of Darkness go, but I do recognize that they were in like a absolutely terrible rule space. But I mean, yeah, no, I think the orcs are definitely more you, I guess.
Yeah, I'm feeling so too. I will admit that I was not tempted by the Bone Reapers until this week, and I was like, now they sound awesome. But
yeah, no, I just I can't do it because I think there was a good discussion going on in the Discord the other day where
Yep.
one guy was going on about how like the aesthetic of the Bone Reapers just wasn't really that consistent. And I tend to agree with that, just because like some got a samurai vibe going on, whereas others are just kind of like generic skeletons. And then we got like these we got the Elder Tor over here with the giant bone collector thingy. It's like, okay, what are you all trying to do here?
that makes sense. Yeah, I get that. So I just like within the range itself, like feeling like it's not a very consistent design.
Yeah, well, that and then of course I've never been much of a death fan.
You know, honestly, like I tried when I first started AOS. Like I actually had quite a sizable death army. This is like long before Allegiance and Nagash came out, and my problem was I really hated moving 120 models, and then Legions of Nagash came out, and it was just like, hey, and if your block of 40 dies, you can put them right back on the table and move them again. And I was like, no.
Yeah, we've got a guy at my local game store who plays that. I'm like, he plays Legions and he plays Slanesh. I'm like, I don't know if I ever want to play this person ever again, because I got my teeth kicked in by the Slanesh stuff, and then I got kind of like in a funk because this is the one guy I knew that played the game consistently. I was like, man.
Gonna play your two least favorite armies.
Yeah, well, not my least favorite. It's just that it's an uphill battle. How's that?
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I play like the nice mid-tier armies, like Corn and Stormcast, like not the best, but you can make them work.
Yep, they can do cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I get that feeling. We I don't know. I think the only player we have locally who like, I mean, just not because he is a power gamer, but because he has those armies is Jack. You know, like he loved Slanesh long before I met him.
Yeah.
And it's like he's like, I don't want to play it because it's no fun. I was like, oh, that sucks.
I think this guy, I want to say he's more into the death angle. Like he's actually really excited about Bone Reapers. I'm like, yeah, but they're also like super competitively viable. I'm like, I'm not ready to go up there and smack them in the face, and then none of them run for battle shock ever. And then he dives into my demons with 10 bravery, and they still end up running somehow. It's like that would oof. Oh boy.
Yep. That's why I gotta get Bone Reapers who don't run away.
It just gives me the feels badsies, as I like to say.
Yes, absolutely. It definitely can, for sure.
Yeah.
It's got some people in the chat.
But that's why I'm excited to get. That's why I'm excited to get into 40K, just because of it's a new meta. It's a new.
Go ahead.
And if I end up digging like deep into Marines, I could probably have a pretty decent army. We'll see how the Sisters Rule ends up. But either way, I'll probably be excited to have the model on the board and be like, "Hey guys, look at my beautiful painted army."
Yeah, no, totally. That's the best part of it, is just showing off painted stuff. I've been thinking that too, actually, with like poking your head into 40K just to be like, this is something different. And that's kind of refreshing. Mm-hmm. And then I poked my head in last week and everyone was on fire about Iron Hands, and I was like, I'm gonna duck back out for a hot second.
I don't think that. Well, yeah. I mean, our place is the guy who's playing the AOS player that I play with often. He's also getting back into 40K with Iron Hands. I'm like, this guy. Oh boy.
Friggin' guy.
And I mean, you know, I'm not gonna say that Iron Hands are like super broken. I think that they're like just good. They're just good. But of course, I don't really know too much about what's going on in the 40k scene. If anything, it's like I'm a little bummed that Imperial Fists weren't as good as the Iron Hand stuff. But I mean, like can't win them all, I guess.
Yeah.
And there was somebody in here in the chat that was talking about Imperial Fists that like you're like they're good at what they're supposed to be good at. I'm like, oh, well, that just might be it.
Maybe that's all they're good at.
Maybe that's it. That's all I can. Is it?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. Like so I grabbed the Tau just because I like the models basically, and I'm not even gonna keep everything that I showed off in the hall. I think the crisis suits. I don't know if I'll keep them or not. I'm sure there's some collector out there who wants the older ones, but
I know a guy.
Everyone knows a guy for something.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, but like the vehicles and that kind of stuff, like I think it looks cool. So, but I have a very at Let's Play Cafe Monroe, there is a very friendly group of 40k players who will happily adjust to whatever, if anyone new shows up, they'll adjust kind of their power level kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is super nice.
Yeah, I mean, the guys I know, there's one guy I know who plays like I think primarily Necrons. So he's like over here. He's like he knows he's not good. His army's not the best or anything like that. But he shows up and has a good time. I'm like, I want to play that guy.
Yeah,
In
exactly.
fact, I always talk about my super dumb idea to make an all melee sisters list. So it's just a crap ton of Repentia, a bunch of Sisters of Silence Vigilators with big old swords, all melee. It is all melee. And then and I talked about it, and he's like, yeah, I'll just bring Demons of Corn list and
just melee
we'll go
bash.
at it. I'm like, that would be terrible.
That would be amazing.
It would be amazing. No, it would be like the most suboptimal but like best game ever.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like playing AOS, but
yeah.
But
well, that's the thing.
like,
so a buddy of mine was like, I don't know if you'll like Tau because they're all about shooting, and I was like, well, all I do in AOS is just punch people in the face. So I feel like I'm okay with trying new things. Like, yeah, it just feels good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still debating on whether or not I really want to go heavy. I know I don't want to do Stormcast shooting, but I see a lot of the good shooting options in Cities of Sigmar. I'm like, maybe I should try that. I don't know.
Grab a gun or two.
Yeah, but I also like the idea that there's one guy in there that's talking about doing a Live in City Phoenix Temple list that just doesn't die. I'm like, that sounds even better.
Yeah, no joke. Yeah, like all the
Phoenix Guard stuff.
Yeah,
it's like
single models that just don't want to go away are so frustrating.
Hey, no, but like that's like my favorite thing. I remember the game I played with Slanesh. I managed to hold up one of his keepers with a 3-man unit of Skull Crushers, Mighty Skull Crushers. So the mortals on Juggernauts for Khorne. I
love it.
And the two regular guys got wiped out pretty easy as they were supposed to, and then the Skull Hunter, the unit leader, stayed. He like. Excuse me. He kept going for about, I want to say like 3 or 4 rounds of combat with this one keeper and an Infernal Rapturous. It was amazing.
Love it.
Just how many hits this guy just didn't take, and then he earned a paint job for that.
Yeah. No, there was a game. It was on Early Ones, but I don't know. It was Slanesh versus I think Fire Slayers.
Oh yeah, I love that battle report.
And Jack just rolled the worst, like just all ones for everything. So the keeper just got bogged down the entire game. It's like, oh, that's.
Well, seeing that battle report come out after I got my teeth kicked in, I was like, this is satisfying. Whenever I want to feel like I have a chance, I'll be like, I'm just gonna go watch that battle report.
Sometimes you just want to see a Slanesh army wielded by a guy who's number 9 in ITC get his teeth kicked in for no reason.
That's honestly, that was it. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. But then I'll do the same thing, and I'll go watch Jack's shoot cast list versus Nagash.
Yep.
That
Insta
one,
kill.
Yes, I love that one too.
Yes. No
It's
joke.
it's yeah.
Trying to think of
Good old ones.
B6. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I'm just cutting off parts here. On like 2 tabs, I have build instructions for the Warcry terrain because apparently the directions they give you in the box are pretty terrible. So.
Oh, I think I remember people talking about that whenever that kit first came out.
Yeah, I mean the instructions are kind of like a go with your gut, shoot from your hip, and all of a sudden the actual cards that tell you how to set up the terrain are like, no, this is what it should look like. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. But I think the terrain is just like recommended, I guess.
Yeah, no, totally. And that's the thing. Like, I wouldn't mind grabbing another box and just building it however I want, just to stack it on top and do all kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, I still haven't really gotten super. I'll see new terrain kits come out and be like, that's cool, I want that. But then when it actually comes to like footing the bill, it's like, nah. I'd rather go buy this. I'm gonna go buy this instead.
That's how I am with airbrushes. Jack's always like, you need to get an airbrush, bro. And I was like, but I could buy literally anything else.
Well, I think the reason is that because I'm in a dorm room, so when it comes to like space, it's like, do I want to have a terrain sitting around, or do I want to have models sitting around? It's like, well, models I can use, and I can just go down to whatever local store. They'll have terrain we can borrow, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's it. And I forget, did they release the Warcry terrain, like the box set one? Did they release that separately yet? Or
I know they announced it, and I think they had a picture of the box. I don't know that it's actually out yet. Someone can correct me.
I forgot about that. And speaking of Warcry, it's like, for as much as I like talked to myself, I was like, yeah, I'll try it. I still have not played a single game of Warcry, just because where I'm at, like literally no one, I don't think gave a care about it. I'm like, you know what, this is fine. That's okay.
That's super interesting because I live. So there's a college, Cascadia, like right up the road from me, and Warcry is the only mini game they can get to stick because it's affordable, relatively. You don't have to store buys the terrain.
Yeah, but I mean, well, the thing about Lubbock, I guess, is that or the store I go to, at the very least, doesn't actually really service the college demographic, just because. It's more kind of like middle-aged folk, standard kind of gaming fare almost.
Gotcha.
Like older 20-somethings seems to be more like the demographic.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
From what I've been able to observe. Even though I remember back at my back home, whenever I was about to leave, like Warcry was starting to turn into kind of like a thing around there, because every Thursday was a kids league at the store, and so we play skirmish. And skirmish was terrible. No, but so Warcry came out. And Warcry was just kind of like a more well-developed, I guess, version of it. And so everyone was like really getting into that. And I don't know if it's really stuck or anything, because, I haven't really like been able to keep in contact with folks down there. But I'm planning on going back, I think, next weekend. Okay. Pop in there and be like, oh, hey, guys, look, I'm back. And they're like, how's your army? And be like, still nothing painted.
Is that famous internet sensation, Kenzie?
Maybe, I don't know.
That's funny. Yeah, that's awesome. It's fun. I really enjoy it. I'm part of a Facebook group, one of the few Facebook groups that I'm still a part of, that is just all about it. I don't know. Yeah, I super enjoy Warcry quite a bit whenever I get a chance to play it.
Yeah, I think where I'm standing on Warcry is that I want the exclusive models for it. So like I like the Corvus Cabal. I like the Spire Tyrants that they just announced. I think one day I might pull the trigger on getting Iron Golems and/or Untamed Beasts. But it's like I want them just to like, because they look cool. I want to paint that.
Yeah.
And that's really it. I'm starting to realize that that's a big kind of motivator in this hobby for me. Is like, it's cool. I want that. I want to paint it. Am I ever going to use? No.
I just throw it up eBay. That's
No, it's like I like having it to look at as well.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's like I'll keep it around as a display piece. I think I'm just gonna end up being that one of those hobbyists that like just builds and paints mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. I mean, there's a lot of folks like that. I actually,
Yeah.
relative to how much I actually play the game, I do much more hobby and painting than anything else.
Definitely.
That's why I try not to offer commentary about anything that's going on in the competitive scene.
Yeah. Well, I paint so slow, and the competitive scene changes like every month. So it's like, what's the point?
Yeah. No joke. That's the thing. And when people I notice talk about the competitive scene online, the biggest thing that strikes me is just the fact that like we're talking about Cities of Sigmar, but we're not going to see Cities of Sigmar for a couple months because people who unlocked the code still have to like buy it and build it. So I don't know. Everything feels very knee-jerk and very delayed.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But even then, part of the reason why I guess I'm not like super excited about the competitive scene is because all the models that are competitively viable don't like scratch the itch for me. You know, everybody, if you want to make a good corn list, you got to have a bloodthirster. For me, it's just like, you know, it's cool, but that's just not really what I want to do at this point.
Not a fan of the bloodthirster?
They say, well, I know I'm gonna want one eventually. It's just that I'm still in the stage where it's like big models scare me.
I get that. No,
So-
yeah.
But then it's like you got, you know, your zombie dragon, Ghoul King on zombie dragon that are like is you know super good. You got the keeper secrets that's super good. Trying to think of other Nagash is super good. It's like all those models that are super good. It's like, nah, they don't look cool though. They don't scratch the itch for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I want to get that.
That is super legit. I mean, you know, that's one of those things. Like, if you care at all about the modeling aspect, being asked to dump that kind of money onto models you're not crazy about is not. It's not going to happen. You can't make that happen.
Oh yeah, for as cool as like Longstrike Raptors are and everything, it's like, I'd rather have like these cool Sacrosanct guys, even though the points got jacked up, sad, and it's like, oh, it still gives me the feels of badsies.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, just because like the model count is so low now. Bummer.
That makes a great deal of sense. And
Yeah.
let's see here.
Yeah, that kind of killed my hobby mojo, I guess, for a while. But then Cities of Sigmar came out, and everyone's like, "Yo, look at all the cool stuff you can do with that." I'm like, I want that.
I want all of that.
It's like I want that. But if I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna have to paint these darn Stormcast.
Yeah, no
So that's
joke.
why
Yeah.
that's why I'm painting my Liberators now. So it's like, oh, I actually need to, get something done before I can get new models.
Yeah,
It's almost
I get that. I mean, I definitely like that's part of my thing. Even with doing the Warcry training, is like partially it's for battle reports, but at the same time, it's like I'm not doing anything until I get this all sorted out. I have too much crap.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, it's like I wanted to clear out a bunch of stuff. It's like for as much as I'm excited about Sisters, I'm also kind of like, man. But like I said, I was gonna drop everything when these models came out, so I could started painting them. It's like, but there's like so many other things I want to get done before then. It's like no. But it's Sisters.
Yeah.
The one thing you've been waiting on all year. I'm
Oh,
still
man.
looking at that. I'm still looking at that candidates that you sent me. I'm like, I still don't know. I'm not ready. Not ready.
You
to
haven't
paint
built
her
it
yet.
yet?
No, I built her. She's primed. She's ready to go. It's just that like, I'm not ready to put the color down.
Okay.
Yeah. Did the Crusader though from Blackstone Fortress? He looks nice.
Oh, the Fat Pope.
No, not the Fat Pope. Even though I did him a while back. I did the the knight looking guy, Sword and Shield from the new expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did him. So
Cool.
starting to kind of figure out how I want the scheme to go for the army. So
What are your main colors you're thinking?
White and gold.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's regal.
Well, yeah, I like it a lot. But because a lot of the sisters like canon schemes are black. 3 of the major 6 orders, their primary color is black.
Right.
Yeah, like martyred ladies like black and red. Valorous hearts just like black with a little bit of white, and
Yep.
then trying to remember the other one. Ebon Chalice is black and white as well. It's like, it's just a bummer. It's like, no, let's do something different. I think the Sacred Rose is like a cream kind of color.
Okay.
And then Bloody Rose is like a red. I forget what the 6th one is, but still, it's not a lot. There's not a lot of variance in it, so it's like, you know what? Let's do something completely different.
Yeah. No, that's I don't know. I always like when people do their own paint scheme, to be honest with you. Like I either like it when you come up with something original, or you like super nail whatever like the GW one was. I'm not sure. There's not a lot in between. I don't know why. Just random color patches. There was a guy who had what was it? It was Slanesh, but it was like highlighter green. And
I remember Takeover Mars did like a green looking Keeper Secrets.
Yeah. It wasn't. Hey, it was an entire army. Like it was definitely a 40k like Demon's army.
Okay.
But they made it so bright that you couldn't see any of the detail on anything. You're like, huh. They're like, oh, that's a shame. I don't know how to say that.
Yeah, that's the only thing I worry about with doing all the white is that how I chose to do it was that I primed it white, and then put Drakenhawk Nightshade like directly over it.
Okay.
And to get that shade in there, because I remember I did my Sister Superior for the Warhammer Day one, and I showed it to somebody. It's like, you know what's gonna make this better? Shade. I'm like, oh.
Shadows. Yep.
Oh. And then so I decided to do that, and then I painted the Ulthone Gray on top of it. I still don't know if it really if that really did anything, as far as like if putting the shade on first really did anything, because I don't know if I want to put the shade on top of the Ulthone Gray, because it would just so drastically change like the tone of the white.
Yeah.
I'd have to go redefine it. It's like, no. I'm trying to do this, find a way to make it quick. Or at least as quick as possible.
Totally. So what I did for my white robes in the Stormcast, it was Celestia Gray, and then Ulthuan Gray, and everywhere but the recesses, and it kind of makes its own shadow. And then for a little bit of a final touch, I went in and thinned down some Colia green shade. I like having a light teal color.
Okay.
But that's how I got that done. But I can tell you, it wasn't super fast. It was actually one of the slowest things I've ever done.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, if I'm going to be painting like an entire army of like however many ladies, I'm going to want to find a way to make this as quick as possible. I think I'm fine with the lack of definition, I guess, with some of the shade stuff, because I don't know, just the white itself is just pops so well.
Yeah.
In addition to all the metallic kind of highlights on there that really also stand out. It's like it works. It works.
I just saw a comment in the chat from Grinaldi, disappointed with the amount of Duard on the screen right now. I just threw a little dude up there for you as an emotional support dwarf. So, but right now I'm trying to crank out my my backlog, so that includes Warcry terrain, so I can start doing battle reports.
All hail Lady Coldboil. I need to paint my version, because I went and gave her like a cape and a little fur trim around her hood to make her look more like the character she was based off of. So I need to do that and like prove who the real Shadowkeeper is.
That's funny.
Yeah, maybe whenever. Yeah, I'll do it when you get that battle port going. How's that?
Yeah, there you go. Yep. It's should go pretty well. The first one went pretty well. Got some good feedback.
Yeah, no, I really did like the new one, or the one that you did.
Thinking putting at least the ability dice, showing that on the screen for folks, because that was something I was asked quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting to see how the mechanics kind of influence the story. I think that's what that's really helps with. So like whenever you're doing it at home, you're like, oh, this is what that looks like.
Yep. 100%. Let's see here. Okay, so just while I'm pulling up stuff to check out latest news and rumors, what Sisters of Battle model you're most excited for?
Oh, Sisters Repentia.
Repentia. I don't know anything about the Sisters lore, so which one's that?
So Sisters Repentia are essentially disgraced battle sisters. So if you've done something that like has I guess been like out of line, like you went and disobeyed orders or did anything like that, then you take the oath of penitence, tear up your robes and wear the rags all over you. That's the only thing you get to wear.
Okay.
And then they give you an eviscerator chainsword.
Oh, that's
and
rad.
Put you underneath a Repentia Superior is what they're called now. The lady with the big old whips and everything, and they're like, all right, go.
Oh, okay, so like almost like flagellants kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's like the jam is you either go out there and you fight hard and you redeem yourself, or you die.
Now,
it turns out you're unworthy the entire time.
Can you redeem yourself? Like, can you become one of those and then earn your way to not being one of those?
Fun fact, actually, Saint Celestine was a Repentia at one point.
All right.
Yeah, no one knows what she did to do that, but it doesn't really matter. All that is known is that she, miraculously survived a battle one time, and then got a vision about where Saint Catherine's armor was located. They all went there, and they're like, "Wow, she knows her stuff."
Okay, right on. Okay,
but
so the one person who did is super special. That makes sense.
Yeah, people who do well. There's been other cases where people who survive that whole experience become like Sister Superior and get pretty high ranks if they survive it.
Right on.
There's even there was a short story that was sold earlier in the summer that was about that. I have yet to read it, but I bought it, so it was like
but I'm sure it's great. Yeah.
Sure, it's fine.
That's super funny. Right on. So I have our news pulled up. You want to talk about Maw tribes? You want to talk about Bone Reapers?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna be honest. I have very little interest in either army, so I haven't really been following the rules previews or anything like that. So you'd have to steer the conversation for me.
Oh, no problem. I will leave it up to the chat. Chat, what do we want to talk about first? We'll give them a hot second. Meanwhile, I am wrestling with this terrain. I gotta tell you, I hate building stuff so much. Model building is the absolute worst part of this hobby to me.
Every once in a while, I'll get the itch to put some models together, and I'll have a big kind of long session of building models, and I'll build a bunch at one time, and then after that, I'll just never want to do it again.
That's super fair.
I'm starting to try to get a little bit more of an affinity for it with messing around with green stuff. And then I'm going to be doing a really cool conversion with Dark Eldar Scourge to try and make a count as Valkia the Bloody. So
that is legit. Yeah. Do you use the current Valkyrie Blade model, or you're just looking to do something different?
I'm looking to do something different because I really don't like the current Valkyrie the Bloody. Because one, it's resin, and then two, it's just kind of like ew.
Oh, I didn't think she was resin. Okay, I didn't know that.
I think, yeah, she is resin, and then she just doesn't really look like, I don't know, it just doesn't work for me.
That's fair.
She's not hot. She's not hot. Her face is awful. It's just like, no thanks, no thanks. And then I look at the Scourges, I'm like, no, that's what I need here. Like, there's not a whole lot that really needs to be done. I just need to clip off some horns, some bloodletter horns, and stick them on the side of her head and call it good.
Let's see. Benny Triad, can you clarify your questions? Why are my seconds always hot? Like if I say the word second? Huh. Weird. Okay, sorry. Yeah, let's check out the Mer tribes. Sorry for my mug there in the bottom corner. Haven't turned that off yet. Let's see. So basically, I want to go over this because one, I'm torn about how interested I am in this army. Like, on one hand, it's like, oh, an army where I only have to build like 30 dudes. That sounds amazing. And 30 dudes that are huge, so you can put a lot of work. Like, you can use each one of them as a canvas for tattoos and that kind of stuff. That'd be sweet. But yeah, so let's see. We got a whole bunch of these things. The meat fists. Let's see. What's their thing? Foot slogging ogre gluttons focus on infantry, I'm assuming. So I dig that. What else we got? Don't really want to read all these on camera because I'm totally terrible about reading out loud.
We're not. Well, and over here we're not the rules guys. We're the.
That's true.
We're the like. I was bummed because the Bone Reapers article had really cool examples of all what the custom schemes look like.
Yeah.
And that was like, oh, I can chew on this. And then I was like, oh, cool. The Maw Tribes version came out, and then it's like, oh, these kind of generic looking display pictures.
Yeah.
It can't really get a good feel of the aesthetic there.
Yeah. I for a hot second the other night, I was like, I want to do both armies. Like, just straight up. I was just like, I'm sold. And then I took a step back. I was like, okay, first of all, do you really want to do that? Because that's a terrible idea. That's old dog talking. And then I was like, what actually interests me? And then the truth is, it was just a matter of having a low model count army. That's the only thing that really interests me about the Maw tribes. I don't have the same emotional attachment as so many other players. I don't know. Hard decisions.
Well, I actually remember there was somebody back home who did have some ogres back when they were still kind of when way before the rumors even came out or anything like that. I was like, oh, cool, they're getting rules. I'm like, that's nice. Grand Alliance Construction has really had a good year, I'd say.
Yeah, I was I think a lot of folks, especially at the beginning of the year, were hoping like, okay, the next narrative arc is going to be going to Gur or something like that. Kind of like how we've been spending all this time in Shyish. We're going to go to Gur, and that's when we're going to have the year of our destruction battle tomes. And it's like, but I mean, we got so many this year, like for them specifically. And, it happened to be like, it seems like a lot for them because they were getting no love for quite a while.
Well, they don't seem to have a huge amount of armies in their Grand Alliance.
No, I'd love to see new stuff. Yeah.
I mean, new stuff for destruction is fine, but I think they're doing a good move with like updating all the currently existing stuff to like a good standard. So that's a good baseline for what destruction is in AOS.
Totally agree. Yeah, that's the thing is I'd rather see old armies get updated than new armies come out. Like,
I mean,
well,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't mean like old battle tomes like Fire Stars. I mean like the people who didn't ever have a battle tome, like the ogre players. I want
Yeah.
everyone to have
Yeah.
something, and then we can worry about who gets what afterwards. So I don't know. Seraphon are still in a weird place.
Yeah, I feel bad. I feel bad. Well, I'm still sad about Slaves of Darkness. It's like, but it's coming. So I'm glad that it's coming, because I've been looking forward to doing a more like a Slave to Darkness addition to my Corn army.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm so curious about how they're going to write the rules for that one in a way that either, do all the other armies get to maintain being able to take them, or is that going to go away? I don't know. That'd be so.
I like what they did in Beast of Chaos, where they had like this specific kind of battalions that were pretty flexible as far as like the stuff you could take, but then also put it into a god specific army, but then also run it by itself. I was like, that's actually really cool. I've wanted to get some Beast of Chaos to fit into my Corn army, but it's like not until I have a good majority of my Corn stuff painted.
Totally. Well, and it's it's one of those things like it is cool that you can do that, but it's also not an insignificant chunk of Beast of Chaos, right? It's a big old battalion. A lot of dudes.
Yeah. And then but the thing is like I've got 40 Blood Reavers to paint. I'm not excited. Well, 35 because 5 are already done, but still it's like 40, yeah.
Yeah, but you paint guys one at a time, right?
I do, and the worst part is that Contrast came out and it's great and everything, but all my Blood Reavers are primed black, so I have no choice but to do them the old-fashioned way. However, I'll sit down and I'll actually do them. Like, I actually don't feel bad about this. These don't feel bad.
I get that.
I actually do kind of enjoy painting these, but like don't want to do so many of them at one time. I'm gonna hate myself. We do got a question in the chat from Ben. It says, may have missed this at some point, but how did I get into AOS and what appealed to me? I mean, so my interest in AOS came after my interest in 40K. So about back, not this January, but the January before, I think January 2018, I went to a local convention that was hosted by like a city library. And a game store happened to be there, and they were doing demos for Warhammer 40K, and I didn't know what it was. But I really like strategy games, so I come over there, and they show me how. And like we did the little demo round. It was Tyranids versus Thousand Suns. I was playing Thousand Suns. My friend was doing Tyranids, and then this guy comes over, and he's like, "Oh, cool, Warhammer!" And he's got like cases of models, and he pulls them out, and it's like an Imperial Guard. Like custom kind of regiment. He whips it out and he's like, yeah, I built and painted these all myself. I'm like, you did what? I want to do that. That's cool. And I swear that night I went onto the website and I was like looking up all the lore and everything. And then it came to AOS. I was like, I don't know what drew me in it when I think it was I went to the local GW store that opened up like that March. And I saw like all the ranges and stuff. I'm like, no, it was reroll ones that brought me into it.
Okay.
Because I was looking up how to like play the game and everything, and I found rerolling ones doing AOS. I was like, this is cool. I like this. These models are cool.
Yeah.
They're cooler than the 40K ones. I think I'm gonna get me some of those.
The hosts are acceptable.
And then Soul Wars was coming out. I was like, there we go. That's my entry point. So so I got those. I got a hold of Soul Wars and painted the entire Night Haunt half for a friend. I was like, that was the worst mistake of my life. Because I didn't like have them pay me or anything like that. I just did it for free, and then it took me until like that Christmas to finally finish painting all my Stormcast.
Oh no.
It was all right. I mean, it was a good lesson.
Exactly. Nothing in this world is free.
Nothing in this world's free.
That's super funny.
But it did come back to help me because we were doing a project for school and we needed to have like a custom art piece, I guess, to elaborate on, the theme of whatever poem we were doing. I was like, I want to use my models for this because no one else is going to do that.
Exactly.
And so we did like a dark, spooky poem. And so I was like, I have a perfect thing for this. I took my display board from Armies on Parade that I had done that year for the night haunt, and basically used that as the art piece.
Nice.
I was like, as you can see, we have all these ghosty models representing, all the death and destruction that is described in this poem.
Oh, sweet.
And that's the story. And then, of course, I stumbled upon all your content. I was like, oh, yep, this is it. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for that.
I'm in.
That's fine. Let's see. I was answering some questions from the chat. Are you making the train from the guide? Nope. No, another tab that you can't see. I have it pulled up. Some website put together like, this is what you should actually do. So, nope, not doing that. And then Hugh, I'm doing well. So yeah, it's that's cool how you got in there though. So it was like a local community thing where some game store just showed up.
Yeah, well, it was actually a pretty well organized event, all things considered, like for the scale of it. So much so that like it really just kind of took off in the last handful of years. So yeah, like a bunch of local authors and businesses and stuff like that kind of come down there to go to that event. But yeah, I think it was a game store in Shadow Creek, Texas called Montag's Gaming.
I love the name.
Yeah, it was too far from where it was like an hour or two south from where I was living, so it wasn't viable to go there. But I mean, like when they went to that event, I was like, they're pretty. From what I've heard, they're real good peeps.
Cool.
So if you're down there in the South Houston area, go there. Go there.
I'm so jealous because like I hear like there's a whole like Texas like circuit, and I know AOS is doing really well there, and it makes me so happy. But at the same time, it's like I have family in Texas, and that can't get me to go there. No AOS tournament's gonna get me to go there. Like it's so hot. I don't miss it at all.
Well, hey, fun fact, it was snowing last night, so yeah, forget that. It was 30 degrees this morning, and I had to walk to class. It was great.
Yes. I had to drop Jess off in Iowa when it was -8 outside, and I was just like, we were newly married, and I was just like, oh, my poor wife.
Yeah, I've suited up considerably well for this. I was able to survive band practice today at 41 degrees. I was like, this is fine. Everything's fine.
Is it like outdoor marching band?
Yep. Yeah, but it's a relatively short practice, all things considered. It only goes for about like 45 minutes, as opposed to high school where it was like an hour and a half minimum.
No thanks.
Yeah, college band is not nearly as intensive.
Why is that? Why does it go backwards?
I think. Well, because I think a lot of the hyper-competitive vibe for marching band is all dominated by drum corps.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you want it to dominate your life, go do drum corps, and do that. But the band in most colleges is there as a kind of tradition, and mostly there to support the sports programs.
Better cheerleaders.
Yeah. No. Well, hey, our Palm squad is apparently national champions, so they're not half bad. They're not half bad. I had a bunch of friends that were in our drill team back at my high school, so I can never really bring myself to talk bad on them.
That's super fair.
Yeah.
I used to think very little of golf until I had a buddy who, in one of my I think it was my metal shot class, he did golf, and he was like, oh yeah, the only reason I did it is because you get to skip a bunch of days in school. And I was like, ugh. You're not an idiot. You're not a rich kid nerd. You're a genius.
Well, I remember. I remember I actually had to. I didn't have to, but my mom signed me up for a golf camp one summer, so I actually do know. I know how to golf. It's one of those weird things that just kind of happened in my past. I'm like, but yeah, no. If you talk to me about golf, I kind of know what's going on. Actually, the last thing you're expecting.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cold Shoulder says, "Oh, I didn't change the stream name. Ah, silly of me. Sorry. I didn't know I was going to be able to catch on until just a second ago. I changed it now so any new folks can see."
I see that. Wow.
So if it really bothers people, refresh your browsers. And with this, my Warcry terrain is finally frickin' done. Oh my god, that sucked the life out of me.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad I was able to provide support.
Yes.
Built something in the light of the Emperor, something.
Yeah, I have exactly one thing left, and that is these little Fury dudes. They should be pretty quick. Basically, I reached a point where I just had like so much stuff, and I was like, it's taking up all this space because I can't like put it anywhere, and because it's all in like the big boxes. That Warcry box is massive. I'm just like, I just need to build it and I need to store it. So, Yo-Yo Wolf, thank you so much. That's super kind of you.
I know that guy. He's on the Discord squad represent.
Yeah. He's super. How do I word this?
He's super active.
Yeah, contributes a lot. I was trying to think of how to fit the word contributes in there. Yeah.
I contribute so much. I've taken on the role of like pseudo admin.
Yeah.
And that if somebody reposts something, I'm like, nuh-uh, get that out.
Oh, that's funny.
That's why I changed my nickname on the server to Adeptus Posticus.
There you go.
Because I regulate that.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I try to get. Well, I've been in there a lot more lately since I got off all of the Facebook groups, but
yes, I noticed that.
It was good for me.
Yes, yeah, I really like that Discord group.
Yeah, so if y'all don't know, like I had this moment last week when everyone on the AOS groups that I was in was freaking out about Slanesh again, like we all do, always, perpetually.
Always,
and then
this is why porn's better.
And then the 40k groups were all hot and bothered about Iron Hands. I was like, you know what? I don't need this, and so I just kind of removed myself from every non-painting related AOS group online and 40k. And I'm better for it. Let's see, 37. But you don't do a lot of social media, do you?
Oh no. Yeah. Super ironic considering I'm a communications major. But no, this is Discord is my primary method of I guess quote unquote social media, but it's a lot of private servers, so I mean
totally, yeah.
However much whatever it counts for.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean it's fundamentally different, I think.
Yeah, I'd argue as much as well. But people like to lump it in, so.
It's one of those things. We've had some families near us that are like, "Oh, I don't let my kids do any form of social media. I think it's not good." And that's fine. That's an opinion. Absolutely.
I mean, it wasn't that it was mostly my own kind of self-regulation where it's like, so we had so many assemblies when I was a kid about like the dangers of the internet and everything like that.
Okay.
And how technically you weren't really supposed to have a Facebook account until you're 13 or anything like that. So, I was like, oh, if you're on Facebook, it's against the rule. It's against the rules. You can't do that. I'm like, okay, so I'm just not going to be on Facebook. And then they start talking about how, cyberbullying and all that stuff that makes kids do just absolutely terrible things. I'm like, I don't even know, like, what's the point in being on these sites if that's all I can really look forward to, I mean, it's so much that way where like when I was getting ready to move off to college, I still kept a lot of those mindsets. to where my mom is trying to like actively convince me to get on Instagram or get on Facebook or something like that, just so she can like, because she's like, it's important, you can keep up with all the sports teams and stuff like that. I'm like, I can keep up with the Astros on the ESPN app. In fact, better, because they send me alerts and stuff. It's like I have ways of keeping in contact. It's like what if you get lonely? Like, how are you gonna make friends? And be like, I'll just call you.
Yeah. He'll go to a store, just meet people like a human.
Yeah. No, I went to, the best thing that I've done so far has just been going to a lot of clubs.
Yep.
On campus, so it's been fine. I've been fine.
Oh, that's fine. And that's the thing, where it's like, I don't even mind the parents who like, steer their kids away from social media. It's more that like in our modern day era, like you can't be illiterate of it. Like you can't not, like saying I understand how important social media is and I choose not to engage in it, but I still understand it.
Yeah.
Is different than like, I don't know.
Just not knowing how to delete a post.
Yeah, the devil's in the computer, and then kind of shunning it.
Yeah. No, see, one of the requirements for my major for everybody in the college is that you have to take a class called like Intro to Digital and Social Media. Mm-hmm. So it's basically like a course that's like, in case you missed it, because it's definitely one of those courses that's like, you can tell this is from everybody like the older generation's understanding of how the internet works, as opposed to but a lot of the stuff I'm learning in here, they're like talking about what an influencer is. I'm like, I don't know. It's like, yes, I know a lot of this information already, because this is my
because I'm less
it's my
than 40.
reality.
Yeah,
is what I always say.
I kind of wish that there was like a meeting of time zone of time periods where like we could see like black and white educational films like they used to have, like propaganda style, but about social media versus bombs
man. That sounds like actually sounds like a really fun that sounds like a fun kind of like project to work on. I'm gonna put that in my back pocket for later.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, see, it makes me think about a lot of those Fallout promos.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or like the I don't know what those little cutscenes that they have, the little cartoons they have on there for all the stats in the games or something.
It's exactly what I was thinking of, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see. As a stepfather to a son of 11, I definitely thought that said 11 sons, and I was like, oh!
Yeah.
I can promise you it's really hard to balance social media. Oh yeah, I have no doubt that it is.
Yeah. I just chose not to really engage with it, because it's like, if there's bad stuff on there, I just probably just don't want to be there.
Fair. And that's a decision everyone gets to make, and that's the best part.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. Maybe I'm missing my bases. Richard Smith gave a pound. Thank you so much. Cool person.
A pound of flesh.
Hopefully not.
No, no, it's just the classic Shakespeare.
The day that idiom. Oh, I know. But the day that Google accepts that as currency, I think we're in trouble.
Corn cares not.
Exactly. Let's see. Man, this sucks. Little fiddly little wings on this guy. Not much, but love what you guys do. Aw, thank you so much. But yeah, it's... And honestly, like, we can actually bring this into talking about AOS. I see that a lot with, like, folks talking about, like, oh yeah, we have the... Slanesh is a huge problem. It's like, I've never played against Slanesh. Twice, I think I have. Where our perception of things online, like, it can get people excited who have never actually experienced it.
Yeah. That's the thing. I remember Brent was talking about how to possibly improve on the format of Battletome reviews the other night, and we were mostly getting at the point where it's like, okay, see, what a lot of people do is like they read the rules and they and freak out and think that it's like the worst thing ever. But it's like we need to see this in context on the table to really understand how important this is going to be. And I, for one, having played against Slanesh, I can verify that some of the stuff that people say about it is a little true. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's like, you know what? I can at least I think I can win against it.
Yeah. Sorry, no, I went quiet there. Sorry about that. Reaching for
I mean,
bases.
it's not. I don't think it's as. I mean, well, as we saw in the Slanesh versus Fire Slayers Reroll One's battle report, I mean, we see that Slanesh can lose, and like, you know what? That's important.
Yeah,
that's important.
I mean, and that's just one example, but it happens all the time. Of before we had any context, people were freaking out. Oh my God, Drakfoot for Bone Splitters is going to be amazing, and it's just like anyone who actually played Bone Splitters is just like, I mean, it's fine. Because there's no rend in the army, so it doesn't matter that it ignores your ethereal save. You still get a 4-up, so it's just like, it's fine. Everything's fine. I don't know.
Yeah. I just think that it definitely needs to be kind of experienced to really truly understand all the stuffs.
Agreed, and that's the thing where it's funny how experience changes things. Because when Slanesh first dropped, and that's just a good example because it's recent. I'm not harping on that army.
On that army because of the Inferno Rapturous.
I don't get it. Explain it.
It's because of the model. It has a heart.
Oh.
In your.
That was a good one. I do this to my wife every time, and she just gets so frustrated.
Yeah, no. It stops me in my tracks, and then I get right back on it.
Exactly. Where, like, initially people were like, oh, that seems cool. And then all the people who actually played Slanesh, like, when it didn't have a battle tome, were like, oh my God, this is incredible. And that it didn't sink in until people saw it in practice. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't begrudge what happened to Slanesh. I'm glad. I'm glad they're the way they are. It's just like, oh, maybe I just don't want to engage with that army ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fine. Everything's fine. I don't even really play that much anymore, anyways.
Honestly, that's why I tend not to comment on things too much. I'm more talking about the social media aspect than the actual army's rules because I don't know about that.
Yeah, I do think that a lot of the reactions there can get a little bit hyperbolic and a little bit like just not fun.
Yeah.
The big not fun. Even on the Discord, occasionally there'd be a handful of times where we just got a little bit too
spicy.
Too doom and gloom about it.
That's fair. Matthias, thank you so much. What country are you in? I don't know what DKK currency is. Is that DKK? I don't know. I know it's not Australia. They use fun bucks. Denmark. Okay. Right on. Thank you so much. Sometimes when Games Workshop, like they, release new models, you should be able to do it tonight actually with the Maw Tribes and Bone Reaper stuff. Where if you set your GW site
I've set it to New Zealand.
Yeah.
You can see the rules early.
But I've done it like twice. I think the last time I did it was trying to figure out if more boys got better for Bone Splitters.
I actually remember doing it during the Fire Slayers release. I was like, I was curious because everyone was talking about it. I was like, oh, okay.
Every single time I forget to switch it back. And so the next time I go on a GW, I'm like, $500. I have like minor, like my heart skips a beat. Every time.
I definitely recall that. That's probably why I don't do it as often, because
Just drive yourself insane with it.
Well, no. It's just because it's like, well, for one, it's like, yeah, I'll figure it out whenever.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
it surprised me.
You say, yeah, roll
Surprise
the
me.
wheel.
Even though a lot of the I've been super concerned about the like how expensive the sisters are gonna be. Even though I've had like $600 worth of like paychecks from my summer job stored away specifically for hobby money and everything like that. So it's like the price is of no question at this point. It's just like how much more can I buy on it in addition? How many boxes can I buy? Even though I'm only gonna get the one.
Yeah, I'm curious. Not so much for the box that's coming out soon, right? Like with the
with all the
yeah. I'm more interested in like the
full
actual range afterwards.
Yeah, well, see, my I guess my how I've been looking at it is that like I'm only gonna get one of the box because I have the feeling that all of those sculpts in there are gonna be probably exclusive to that box.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I maybe not exactly that way, but more than likely I would say, because all the models in there are monopose. And if you know anything about sisters, it's that they have like 3 different weapon options or a handful of weapon options when it comes to the basic troop. Like you can either go with a bolter, or you either go with a flamer, and then there's an option for a melta in there sometime. So it's like if we're gonna be able to execute on all that, then we're gonna have to have a multi-pose kit in there at some point. Therefore, this is only temporary, and the entire range is not going to be monopose. So we're going to get new kits in the when the full release comes out.
So you expect like a big line of multi-part kits where you can assign different weapons and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'm thinking that it could be like they could have the same kind of I guess idea as like the monopose one. So it's like you have the same kind of torso, but you just have more options as far as the weapons go.
Gotcha.
Like an extra sprue that has all the options on it.
That makes sense.
Because with how 40K is, and just with the versatility of the weapon options just being kind of like something a part of the game, I don't think that they would strip that out of this release in specific.
Yeah, no joke.
Even though they're not very they're not exactly the most popular, I guess, or the most well liked by GW.
Well, that'll change very quickly if everyone shells out money like they've been promising for the last 13 years.
Oh, I certainly am excited about that.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. You chat. Someone asked you to reintroduce yourself. Someone just banged on my door here.
Hi, I'm Kenzie. I'm just a fan of ducks. I'm Joshin. I'm a relatively new hobbyist. Only really started last year, so I think I'm coming up on my 2-year anniversary here in January. But otherwise, yeah, I'm just like you, just like you in the chat there. Building models, painting, having a good time, playing AOS, a little bit of 40K. Super excited about Sisters Battle for 40K. I'm also super active on the Discord, so go check me out on there. And then whenever 2 Plus Tomes comes back on the air, I'm typically the co-host of that. Yeah, I've been in here for about 2 years and I still don't have a fully painted army. 2,000 point list. Oh well. I really enjoy the painting aspect, and typically come up with a lot of cool custom schemes, a lot of custom lore as well. Could definitely sit here and wax poetic about it, but I don't want to. We'll be here for like 4 hours. I'm joshing. As far as the Sisters of Silence character, I have seen her on Forge World before. I'm like, I would definitely be down for getting that at one point, but oh well. Give me a Alicia Dominica model, and we'll talk.
Okay, sorry about that. Did we lose everybody?
No, they're still here.
Did you tell them what I really like?
No, everyone. I was just basically banging on about how I've been in the hobby for almost two years, and everyone's like, "Oh wow,
Yeah.
wow."
Owen Wilson, wow. So, our maintenance guy came to check our smoke alarms and monoxide thing, but he banged on that door like,
FBI, open up.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, no, I was at a friend's dorm the other day, and the fire alarm started going off just out of nowhere because I think the batteries were low or something like that, and we all like vacated the premises, and we went and called up the maintenance guy, and then he didn't come, and then 30 minutes later we get back to doing what we're doing. The alarms turned back off, and they knock on there, and we're like, what is it now?
Yeah. No,
it was a wacky little evening.
That's funny. Yeah, we had a night where it was me and Brent at Jack's house, and we were about to film a battle report, and then the fire alarm for the building went off, so we all just kind of slowly meandered out, went across the street and got Mexican food instead. We're just like, yeah, this is totally an acceptable alternative to being productive. 100%. Someone asked what I'm building. I'm building the Furies from the Warcry set because it's the last thing I have to build for it. And it only took me several months. Let's see. Spent $1,000 on a painting army, but it's filled with third-party models, so I don't want to play it. Oh, it's for Slanesh stuff. I'm sorry, man. I've
been looking at getting a handful of third-party models to lump in with the sisters, just to give them a more unique kind of look, I guess. I'm gonna have so many dang living saints.
All of the living saints.
I've got three versions of Celestine, and then I've got a third-party model coming in soon. So that's 4.
Yeah, someone asked me, I see you only ever use GW models. Are you against third party? I'm like, no, I just don't. I don't use them. But doesn't mean I hate them.
Yeah, I've just been I just don't really know much better because I'm still relatively new, but I'm starting to kind of branch out.
Well, that's the thing is a lot of those third party companies are really bad at advertising, so I have no idea they exist. Someone's oh yeah, I got this from, this obscure hipster Dutch plastic forge Bjorgen. It's all named IKEA furniture, and you're like,
yeah.
You're right. That's a great keeper.
Raging Heroes out there has a really good not Sisters of Battle range. They have a lot of really good looking models in there that are pretty extra. It's you know what? One day I'll go get a bunch of Raging Heroes stuff.
There you go.
Because I swear, my dream, because I love Sisters of Repentance so much, I'm gonna have to have so many of them to make them viable. So we're just gonna get a bunch of third-party stuff and call it good. Just because I'm gonna be tired of building the same kit over and over again.
Who wouldn't get tired of that? Yeah.
Yeah. 40 Blood Reavers is enough for me.
If you haven't learned your lesson after Blood Reavers, you never will.
I will never ever again. I hate them so much. Well, I hate them, but they're actually not terrible. I run them in a nice big old block of 40 and then have a Exalted Deathbringer follow behind with his command ability to make sure that they never run away. So they stay for a while and tar it up, and that's what they're supposed to do.
Yep.
I call them the Honorless Horde.
There you go.
Because they're all big pansies. I'm joshing. I think the lore for I came up with them in my army is that they're all the men who just decided not to join up with the cause. So they're like, hey, we're just gonna make you fight for corn now. So just go,
Yeah, pretty much.
go out there and go get them. And then whenever they're not fighting, they just go back home and just chill out and farm or whatever.
Yeah.
But whenever it comes time, it's like, all right, gotta get them all together and whoop in a new fury, go get them.
They're like the reserves.
Yeah. Well, it's just like my corn army is essentially just like your average kingdom. It's just they also just happen to really like corn.
Yeah, it works.
So the mighty load of corn is like the king, and then there's just all of his different advisors with the heroes, and then like the exalted deathbringer, since his sole job is there to discipline all the blood reavers, he's like a drill sergeant. all the blood reavers thought that he was so cruel and so much like a demon that one day he just sprouted horns. He just sprouted horns, and
I've been that angry.
It's real. Yeah, his skin turned red, and his horns started sprouting out of his head, and it's like, yep, that's happened.
Let's see, 38. I have 2 left. I'm so close. I can like hear the what's that song where it's like the Olympic dun 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 dun.
Oh yeah. No, that's Hawaii 5-0.
Oh. But I've never seen Hawaii 5-0.
I haven't either, but I am as a communications major, I'm obligated to know about pop culture. Therefore, I know what Hawaii 5-0 is.
Oh my gosh. You mean like the old school one or the remake they made?
I haven't seen either, and I don't really care to because TV sitcoms or TV like dramas are not my thing. Like crappy mainstream network dramas, not my jam. But I do love me some Big Brother on CBS.
Everyone's got a weakness.
It is my trash.
Everyone's got theirs.
Yep. But you were different. But everyone in the chat saying you were looking for Chariots of Fire.
Yeah. I got it.
Another movie I have not seen, but I am aware of.
Oh man. Let's see. Chariots of Fire, maybe Hordes, but no one plays here anymore. Yeah, War Machine and Hordes is almost extinct, I think, locally. I mean, there's a few tight groups that still play it, but yeah, no. You ever play War Machine and Hordes?
Me? Oh no, I've only done Warhammer stuff. Unfortunately. I painted some models on commission for Gloomhaven. They were pretty not good models.
Gloomhaven. I never played that one.
I think it was a board game that came off a Kickstarter.
Okay, that would explain it.
Supposed to be pretty good, but yeah, a guy was like, "Hey, so I see you paint models. Could you do this for me?" I'm like, "Okay." And you're like, how much you charge for it? I'm like, I'll do it for $10.
There you go. I was a super broke college kid when I started getting into this hobby. And I started with War Machine and Hordes, and I did the same thing where I learned how to paint, and then people started asking me, "Hey, will you paint this for me? What'll it cost you?" And I would just point at something on the wall and be like, "Buy me that, and I'll paint this for you."
Yeah,
so that's how
I've been wanting to get to establish myself as kind of commission painter. So I'm on my store's local Discord page, and so with the Feast of Bones stuff coming out, and be like, "Hey, I'll paint that tyrant for you." Wiggles eyebrows.
Exactly. up, guys? I want some painted tyrants. Exactly.
you want a nice painted tyrant, because it's like it's partly because one, I want to paint that model, but I'm never going to use it, so I don't want to buy it. So, let me paint it for you, and then it's like, oh, then I can get something to spend on what I really want, which is more sisters.
Yeah, no joke. Yeah, that's what I did. And once I accrued that army of stuff that people bought for me to paint for them, I just started trading and never looked back.
No, I'm pretty set on what, like, all the stuff all the armies I want. Like, my taste doesn't really change in that regard. Even though, I see all the cool rules for orcs, and I'm like,
they're pretty dope.
They look really cool. There's some pretty cool rules. I like them brute models. Maybe one day after I get done with all this other stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. What a very intelligent and mature approach that I have yet to master. So I'm just like, that looks cool. I bet you I could flip what I'm painting this exact second and get that.
I'm playing the long game here. I think. I don't know. Well, I mean, the dream is to, for Armies on Parade one day, it's like, I'm going to have an awesome display board of Sisters versus Word Bearers. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, that would be epic, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking on that, I've been debating on how I want to do the bases for those armies, because the whole story is that they're fighting over a shrine world. And it's like, do I want to get one of those green stuff rollers to make like some cobblestone looking something, or do I just want to do Astro Granite and call it good?
Yeah, I can tell you that the green stuff roller thing, it's not that the roller is expensive, it's just that all the green stuff you need, not cheap.
Yeah, that's definitely what's kind of stopping me. But it's like, do I really want to go all in with this concept here, or do the bases, does it really matter? I'm thinking about clipping out bits of the sprue to use as kind of like use as like rubble, I guess.
Yeah.
Just for a little bit of variance on there. And I think some Astro Granite. And then I'm thinking about also doing like little piles of it, and then dry brushing some orange and stuff to make it look like smoldering ash.
That sounds awesome.
Because flamers.
Oh, Sisters, right. Yep.
Yeah. Especially on all the flamer models, yeah. So it'd be fun. I think that would be maybe just good enough, and then when it comes to the actual display board, that's where I'll get it's a this place.
Mm-hmm.
That's way down the line. I gotta paint all the models first.
My goodness, yeah, that's always the longest part. It's just like, I have all these great plans. I have to start doing them at some point. Which is typically where things fall apart for me.
Yeah, well, I think no, I mean I'm pretty solid on what I want to do with this those armies. Is like I'm pretty dead set on like making this big kind of narrative out of it. It's just the struggle is like, okay, we got to keep that motivation going, and then once I'm done with the long part of painting all the models, then what?
Yeah. You have to build the whole scene around it.
Yeah, that's where I think it's going to get real tough. Is figuring out how to do all that, and that's why I've been like secretly looking at a bunch of terrain, but who knows. And a question in the chat from Atomic Topper. I'm gonna be using the bit from the Chaos Knight kit. There's like a perfect little shield that has like a demon face on it that goes on like the champion or something.
Yep.
So I'm gonna buy that bit off of eBay and get it sent to me. So that's what I'm planning on doing for the shield. Yeah, because when it comes to making a Valkyrie the Bloody, you have to have that kind of demon face shield, or else it's like you can't really tell it's her because
she's just an angry woman.
Well, the story behind the real Valkyrie is that she one time a demon like trash talked her, and she got so mad that she took the things, killed it, took the thing's head off, and uses it as her shield now.
I love it.
Yes, it's a great story.
I know. Oh, I did do a video about her. Yeah. It's all coming.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah. It's like, yeah, you told that story.
Honestly, once I make videos, it just falls out of my head.
Hey, no, I get that. It's okay. Like, I only hang on to half the information because when it comes to it's like all I have space for is the armies I care about.
That's super fair.
My goal is to like I will know everything about Sisters of Battle. I will know nothing about anything else.
That's
I'll know everything about Word Bears, Imperial Fist, Sisters of Battle, and that's it.
That is just your version of enlightenment. Is just I am the authority on blank.
That's it. That's exactly it. I know it better than you, GW.
Exactly. And you can be one of those actually people in all their chats and their.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever get that bad. Maybe I will.
That's my favorite. So I subscribe to them on Twitch mainly because like I like the chats. I don't really care for their battle reports, but when they have like the designers come on and just chat, like, hey, this is kind of what we were thinking. I think it's a really cool, like, get some perspective on things.
Yeah.
But the point I was making there is that it is always funny to see the actually people when some lore guy's like, yeah, we wanted to kind of represent this element from their background, and someone's like, actually, that was retconned in the 3rd edition codex, and you're like, well, it's not anymore.
Yeah. For me, as like with the tapeworm knowledge of everything of Sisters that I have going into this new release, it is definitely very interesting to look at the BS bulletin, as I've been calling it, to see what they choose to focus on in the new range, as it were.
As far as like the lore elements, or like how the rules translate that. I guess they haven't done anything.
I think mostly lore elements. Be like, okay, so like we have an opportunity to reimagine these X unit in plastic. What are you gonna focus on? Holds up the microphone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I really like what they've been doing with a lot of it. So yeah.
Sweet.
I am actually very interested to see what they're going to do for the Sister Celestians, which are basically like the elite bodyguards of canonesses, because I definitely want to see what they're going to do with that. If it's going to look like super fancy compared to the average sister, or if it's just going to be kind of like different kind of weapon options, I guess. Like, they get a sword, they get a really fancy sword and a really fancy shield.
We'll see how many... is that kind of their equivalent of lieutenant? See how many lieutenant options they get.
Yeah, the one thing I am a little bit concerned about is like, so how many heroes are we gonna get? Because we got the canoness, the sister hospitaller, the Celestine.
Yep.
Maybe a basic an unnamed living saint variant. And maybe Candace Viridian. But that's kind of it as far as what we've been shown. So I'm like, that's boring. I don't want to have to run this same like boring. This is why I have like 3 Candace models now, is because I would be like, no, it's this character this time.
Yeah, no, I absolutely get that.
I think they're probably going to have to remake the Sister Dialogus, because that was part of the original range, which it's more of a support hero kind of thing, like the Hospitaller. But it's like I would like to see more kind of heroes. Please, like if there's going to be any sort of expanded kind of lore if they're gonna add extra models that weren't ever in the original release.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so they're going to add new units, just expand it a bit. That makes sense. I'm just packing up all the terrain. Got it all finished.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for those in the chat, I think the situation is that they're releasing the Sisters box this year to keep that promise of Sisters in 2019, and then the rest of the range is probably going to come out with the Psychic Awakening, whatever they're doing there. Which is fine. I'm okay with that because it gives me. I'm actually very okay with that because it gives me time to, buy that box, get that all painted up, and see or get that built at the very least, and see, what I want to do with this as far as the painting, and then get a bunch of stuff for Christmas, and then get a bunch of money and stuff for Christmas, so that when the actual release comes, I'm even more prepared.
There you go. Brace yourself for the storm.
Yeah, the storm with faith, faith's storm.
So this is for just one person, but Ben Ichiide in the chat. We got some awesome terrain here, my friend. You and I are gonna have some fun games of Warcraft. Everybody else, weep at the knowledge that I'm not gaming with you right now.
Look upon my works,
exactly.
Ye mighty and despair.
Let's see. Okay, well, what is it? We've been going for about an hour and a half. It's 1 o'clock here. I'm going to hop off and grab some lunch with my very lovely wife. Because she's a trooper and was also scared crapless by the FBI raid / maintenance man. I know, it was exactly what it was. Never heard a man so urgent to get into somebody else's apartment. So, anyway, friends, thank you all so much for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and hop off. Kenzie, thank you so much for your company. It was fun.
You're welcome, yeah.
Let me, I can't promise when the next 2+ tomes is going to be simply because they're just...
No, I know. You're getting wrecked with the battle tomes.
Yeah,
and that's why... No, that's part of me was getting antsy. I was like, people need... The people need to have me back.
There is a mighty need, yes. Absolutely. Well, you know what? Let's plan on just doing another paint and chat. Me and you will just hang out and chat again because it's going to be a bit. So,
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for joining me. I will catch you next time.
Alrighty, go read Red Queen.